Hello and welcome to Mind Shifters Radio. I'm Tim Hayes. I'm your host for the first hour. And today is Monday, May 31st, 2021. As always, we're grateful to everyone who's joining us here today, whether you're listening live or through the archives, as we spend another couple of hours teaching and supporting people in using some of the most powerful, effective, efficient, and accessible tools I've ever discovered. These tools are available absolutely free thanks to the tireless efforts of Michael and Jeannie Rice. They're available at whyagain.org. If you go to that website, click on the red and white bullseye or the link in the upper left-hand corner of most pages that says Start Here. It will take you to a page where you can download and read Chapter 24 of Dr. Michael Rice's book. His book is titled, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And that chapter of that book contains a narrative description of the primary tool in this work. That tool is called the Reality Management Worksheet, sometimes called the Reality Management Wake-Up Sheet. And it's a tool I've been using to great effect for over 16 years now to manage my emotions, improve my relationships, and turn any negative emotional state into part of that infallible guidance system that we've all been given. You can also download the actual tool itself. It's a PDF file. Click on it, download it, print it off, and use it as often as you'd like. You can also go to your App Store and type in the three words Heartland, Heartland, all one word, Aramaic, Aramaic, and forgiveness. And before you're done typing the word forgiveness, you'll see the glowing heart icon. If you tap on that, it will give you access to a completely free and private app that's available that contains the Reality Management Worksheet, an abbreviated version of that worksheet process, and a copy of the Dragon Klingon game, which is a wonderful way to introduce these tools to even younger audiences. And we hope you do that soon and often, because most often when people do that, it raises questions, and or they find great effect and want to give a testimonial. And if you're in that category, a question or a testimonial, you can give us a call at 563-999-3581 and press 1, and it'll put a little question mark in front of your phone number, and I'll announce you by your area code. We are also in the process this year of doing the Course in Miracles workbook lessons, one each day. Today is the 151st day of the year. I'm going to back up and mention that Saturday's lesson was a review of lesson 137 and 138. 137 reads, When I am healed, I am not healed alone. And 138 is, Heaven is a decision I must make. It's just a thought or a decision away. Yesterday's lessons were a review of lesson 139 and 140. I will accept atonement for myself, and only salvation can be said to cure. Atonement and salvation, the same thing, the recognition that there is no separation, that we are all at one with the Creator. And today's lesson, lesson 151, ends the review period and goes for a new lesson that says, all things are echoes of the voice for God, of the voice for love, of the voice for the Creator. The commentary reads, no one can judge on partial evidence. That is not judgment. It is merely an opinion based on ignorance and doubt. Its seeming certainty is but a cloak for the uncertainty it would conceal. Judging on partial evidence needs irrational defense because it is irrational. And its defense seems strong, convincing, and without doubt because of all the doubting underneath. You do not seem to doubt the world you see. You do not really question what is shown through your body's eyes. Nor do you ask why you believe it, even though you learned a long while ago that your senses do deceive. That you believe them to the last detail which they report is even stranger when you pause to recollect how frequently they have been faulty witnesses indeed. Why would you trust them so implicitly? Why? But because of the underlying doubt which you would hide with a show of certainty. How can you judge? Your judgment rests upon the witness that your senses offer you. Yet, witness never falser was than this. But how else do you judge the world you see? You place pathetic faith in what your eyes and ears report. You think your fingers touch reality and close upon the truth. This is awareness that you understand and think more real than what is witnessed by the eternal voice for the Creator himself. Can this be judgment? You've often been urged to refrain from judging, not because it is a right to be withheld from you. You cannot judge. You merely can believe the ego's judgments, all of which are false. It, the ego, guides your senses carefully to prove how weak you are, how helpless and afraid, how apprehensive of just punishment, how black with sin, how wretched your guilt. This thing it speaks of, and would yet defend, it tells you is yourself. And you believe that this is so with stubborn certainty. Yet, underneath it all, remains the hidden doubt that what it shows you as reality with such conviction, even it does not believe. It is itself alone that condemns, that it condemns. It is within itself it sees the guilt. It is its own despair it sees in you. Hear not the ego's voice, the witnesses it sends to prove you its evil is your own. So, don't hear the ego's voice. Don't pay attention to the witnesses it sends to you to tell you that the ego's evil is your evil. Your faith in them is blind because you would not share the doubts their Lord cannot completely vanquish. You believe to doubt his vassals is to doubt yourself. Yet, you must learn to doubt the ego's evidence and let the voice for the Creator alone be the judge of what is worthy of your own belief. The Creator will not tell you that your brother should be judged by what your eyes behold in him, nor what his body's mouth says to your ears, nor what your fingers touch reports of him. The Creator passes by such idle witnesses which merely bear false witness to the Creator's offspring. The Creator recognizes only what the Creator and love created, and in the holy light of what he sees, do all the ego's dreams of what you are vanish before the splendor that the Creator beholds. Let the Creator be the judge of what you are, for he has certainty in which there is no doubt, because it rests on certainty so great that doubt is meaningless before its face. It goes on for another 8 or 10 more paragraphs, but you get the idea. So, spend 15 minutes thus when you awake, and gladly give another 15 before you go to sleep. Your ministry begins as all of your thoughts are purified, so you are taught to teach the Son of God the holy lesson of his sanctity. No one can fail to listen when you hear the voice for the Creator give honor to creation's offspring, and everyone will share the thoughts with you which he has retranslated in your mind. Such is your Eastertide, and so you lay the gift of snow-white lilies on the world, replacing witnesses to sin and death. Through your transfiguration is the world redeemed and joyfully released from guilt. Now do we lift our resurrected minds in gladness and in gratitude to him who has restored our sanity to us. And we will hourly remember him who is salvation and deliverance as we give thanks the world unites with us and happily accepts our holy thoughts, which heaven has corrected and made pure. Now has our ministry begun at last to carry round the world the joyous news that truth has no illusions, and the peace of creation through us belongs to everyone. And Pam Grout's lesson for today from the Course in Miracles experiment is titled The Optical Illusion Known as Your Life. She quotes Sue Morter as saying, "Everything is a prop to help us love more." Pam writes, "We've all been fooled by optical illusions. M.C. Escher's descending stairs, for example, or the human skull that upon closer examination shows a woman staring into her vanity mirror. Optical illusions are so common, you would think we'd be more skeptical of the tricks routinely played on us by our eyes." Lesson 151, all things are echoes of universal truth, tells us that our senses are not reliable witnesses. Over and over again, they distort reality. Our senses show us images that are not there. This begs the question, why do we so implicitly believe all that our senses report? Where did we get the ridiculous notion that we should depend on these perceptual deceivers to judge ourselves and others and the world around us? As this lesson says, it's not the act of judging is being yanked away. It's not that the act of judging is being yanked away. It's that our human bodies lack the proper equipment to adequately judge. As the old saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Instead of being fooled twice, I gain access to a more reliable connection. When I give my thoughts over to love, the optical illusion of pain, suffering, and loss disappears. It literally evaporates. No longer fooled, we learn to trust that no matter how it may look, everything is a prop for love. Everything is a prop for love. So, our call-in number is 563-999-3581. And if you call that number and press 1, we can have a conversation. This is Memorial Day. This is the day to remember those we've lost to armed conflicts around the globe for as long as we've been doing that. Seems like an eternity. And many say the best way to honor those that we have lost to military service is to do everything we can to not have to use military force again, to not lose anyone else to military service. That's just one aspect. Some people believe that you have to constantly fight to maintain what you've gained in terms of peace. And those who do spiritual teachings would quickly point out that every tool you use produces a result like the tool. So if you go to war, you're going to create more violence and war. And if you really desire peace, you need to be at peace. The other thing I was going to mention today is the little book by Thich Nhat Hanh, and that book is titled Reconciliation, Healing the Inner Child. And blessedly, from my perspective, it's read by someone other than Thich Nhat Hanh, because no matter how much I enjoy his writings, it is difficult for me to follow his speaking. And I have a conditional recommendation of that book, which is that if you're already in a state of mind that is compatible with Buddhist teachings, this is a lovely little book about the need to be gentle with yourself, the need to understand that you're carrying around these life experiences within your consciousness that are loaded in. They were created and loaded in to your consciousness through a younger worldview. And that younger worldview basically stays in you at whatever level of maturity you were when you downloaded that set of thoughts, visual impressions, emotions, etc. And this is a lovely little book that includes several writings from people who understand the idea of talking to, communicating to, giving acknowledgement to that younger part of yourself, which has been through something that he or she felt was too much for them to handle, and they're, basically isolated within your mind, and therefore not, let's say, aware of the fact that they're not 8 years old anymore, that they actually made it to 9 and 10 and 12 and 17 and 35 and 64, etc. So it's a lovely little book that is very much in the Buddhist tradition and uses Buddhist breathing and meditation. And in some levels, it's very repetitive, but it also contains some lovely writings from people who've written about working with their younger self and finding some resolution by accepting what it is that's stored in their mind-body energy system. And Thich Nhat Hanh has been on my reading list for a lot of years, beginning back in the mid-'80s, probably second or third only to Krishnamurti. And I can recommend that brief little book. So, we have a couple people on the call. We have 40 minutes left. 563-999-3581. And if you press 1, we can have a conversation. If not, I will discuss the idea of working with that younger version of yourself that Thich Nhat Hanh talks about in this book, Reconciliation, and the value of writing a letter to your younger self, and or letting your younger self write to you. It's very much, in my mind, an echo of Dr. Michael Rice's responsibility communication tool. If I have an upset with someone and I pull out the responsibility communication tool, the primary thing that this tool does is it helps me remember that my goal is that I want to heal, and that I need to accept, to acknowledge, and work with the fact that I am completely responsible for every emotion I experience. And if I start with that, this is right in line with Dietrich Wolzak's work. I begin with the recognition that I'm upset. I'm not going to blow this off. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not in pain. And then the second step is I acknowledge this is all about me. 100% responsibility. I understand how this mind-body energy system works, and I'm the one that creates every emotion I experience. I create my emotional experience by choosing an interpretation of whatever sights and sounds and sensations hit my senses, just like this Course in Miracles lesson today calls us to. We have this ridiculous dependence upon what our senses tell us, and we believe our senses despite the fact that they frequently mislead us, and that we have a long history of being fooled by our senses. And yet, we cling to what our senses tell us and trust their pictures and the interpretations we create from them as though it was infallible proof of actuality. So, the beginning of the work is I accept that I'm in pain, that I'm in error, that I'm troubled, that there's something in me that needs to be healed. That's the reality management. That's the responsibility communication tool. The next thing is I accept 100% responsibility for creating this within myself. And the next thing is I start mapping out what it is that I think happened in as neutral a way as I can, Michael likes to say, in the way a camera could take a picture of it or a voice recording could record the sound of it. And this is with as little interpretation as possible. And then I state what my upset is, how I have used that to create an upset. And I restate that I want to heal my upset. That's the whole purpose of this situation. Well, if I write a letter to my younger self, my 6-year-old self, or if I write a letter to my mother or father, because I am holding in my mind upset that my mind is telling me is about an interaction that happened between me and my mother when I was 6 years old. If I write a letter to my mother and or my 6-year-old self, that can be very, very useful in helping me get clear about the distortions in perception that I have locked into my awareness with the label that these are the truth. I can convince myself that I'm right and the world and the people around me were wrong and this should never have happened. And as I do, in the book by Thich Nhat Hanh, he says we suffer. But in that book, he talks about how our suffering is, the way they describe it, is useful. And very similar to the way Abraham talks about how we need the contrast between the things that we really don't like and the things we really do like in order to clearly know our minds and to get on the right track. Not everybody in the spiritual teaching world agrees with that, but it is one perspective that you have to have the suffering in order to learn and grow. I would offer probably more productively for the way my mind works is I have the capacity to turn anything that I've experienced as suffering into a stimulus for growth. I'm not certain that it needs to be there or that I needed to interpret it negatively to begin with. But it is my negative interpretations of life events that is what creates my negative emotions and therefore what we term my suffering. So the idea is, if I'm willing to admit, I'm not doing well, and then we use the awareness in this work with Dr. Michael Rice's work, if I'm in pain, my thoughts are in error. So every time I have anger, every time I have fear, sadness, hurt, it's possible to use the interpretation that says, oh, this is an alarm system trying to wake me up to what today's Course in Miracles lesson is teaching me. My senses are highly fallible. My senses give me, quote, evidence, close quote, that justify my suffering and tell me that I'm damaged, I'm broken, I'm weak, I'm living in a fearful world. It proves to me these pictures my mind shows me through the ego's interpretation of what hits my senses. It proves to me that I need the ego to protect me. And yet, it's only the ego's pain and fear that's generating those false images to begin with. So, if I am willing to step into this process and recognize that every time I have a picture show up in my mind from what my senses are showing me, that my mind then interprets with some kind of a negative filter that generates a negative emotional state, my best use of that negative emotional state is a wake-up call. And what I do once I wake up is I use a tool. I use a tool to help me get very clear about the misperception that is responsible for the pain I'm feeling. I get clarity about the true nature of the life I'm living and the gift of life from the Creator, and I recognize that this pain, this suffering, is a result of trying to pretend that what's real or what's true isn't true, and or trying to pretend that what isn't true might someday work out to be true if I just keep practicing it. So this tool, whether it's writing a letter to myself, my younger self, writing a letter to my parent who I think offended my younger self, letting my parent, deceased or otherwise, write me a letter, and use the other tools, the reality management worksheet, the EFT tapping, the breath work. It can allow me to shift my energy flow to the point where I begin questioning, what is this perception that my senses want me to believe is all about the actuality? And what would it take for me to choose again? And what's available on the other side of that choice? The Course in Miracles lesson for today says, love. Love is what is all there is, and love is what I will see when I give up my ego's evidence, validating and justifying my negative emotional states. So our call-in number is 563-999-3581, and we've got 28 minutes left. How can we support you today? Welcome, Susan.
Howdy, Dr. Tim. Thanks for a good intro. I actually wanted to ask you if you would go with me through a worksheet.
Okay. Do you have one with you?
Yep, and I have already done it. I had a very chopped up night last night and listened to Pierre Pradavand interview by Tim Hayes and loved it, and was hoping that the familiarity of your voice would help lull me back to sleep, and I was very energized. It had the opposite effect. It makes me want to order that book again. I have read the book and sent it to somebody, and I don't know who I sent it to, and so I need to read it again. And it was a wonderful interview, but the night was rough, and I, as a result of that, listened this morning to Dr. Bhopal and some of her little, and I listened to your interview with her too, after the other one during the night, about sleep, and the worksheet is about sleep. I'm very interested that she said that basically you can't tell which comes first, anxiety and depression leading to insomnia, or insomnia making, exacerbating anxiety and depression. It doesn't probably matter which. But I've done worksheets on insomnia before, and I don't seem to get, I'm going to move a cat, sorry, so I can actually get a pencil. I can do this. All right, so I'm just going to start, if it's okay with you.
All right, you've gone very quiet.
Sorry, I was removing a cat and the phone fell away. Yeah.
Okay.
So I, Susan, who am love, and am experiencing fear. Hostility and fear are from internal corrupt data. My denial causes my carbon-based memory to displace my experience of myself as my essence, love, and tells me the lie that my emotions are caused by my trigger, in this case, insomnia. My story is I have insomnia. My sleep is shallow even when I'm sleeping. So level of emotion is probably an 8 upset. And last night was a bad night, and I'm refusing to take any medications for it. I've been taking melatonin, but it's very interesting what Dr. Bhopal says about melatonin, that you shouldn't take it for too long, and it's a hormone, and it can interact with other things, and you should take a very tiny dose. I'm sure I've been taking too much. So, taking a breath and getting back to the worksheet. My thoughts that caused the upset is I'm going to get sick and die young. Not that I'm young. Today's my birthday. I'm 77 today. So, and maybe that was a contributing factor in this funny night. I didn't think I was having feelings about having a birthday, but maybe I am. I'll get sick and die young, or get demented and be a nuisance. All right, 1E. I want to punish insomnia by, and I couldn't think of a way of punishing insomnia, or myself by worrying. So I release and surrender myself to love. Check. I release and surrender my emotion of fear to love. I release and surrender insomnia to love. I release and surrender my story that I need to sleep more and that I'm sleeping shallowly. I release that to love. And my thoughts that I'm going to get sick and die younger, or get demented and be a nuisance. I've tacitly surrendered these to God/love as best I can, but the level of anxiety is pretty extreme. So I went to my goal. Is it okay doing it this way, or do you want me to do a shortcut? I certainly could.
No, this is fine. This is fine. And you went to your goal. What was the goal?
The goal is it's hard to get a positive goal when you want insomnia to go away, but my goal was worded, I want insomnia to yield to full, deep, and uninterrupted sleep.
Okay.
Is that an
All
okay?
right. Yeah, it's fine. But I was about to say, well, it isn't that difficult. And then you just proved it's not that difficult. What you want is full, restful, uninterrupted sleep. You don't need to put in there, I want insomnia to go away, because if you get full, restful, uninterrupted sleep, there is no insomnia.
Okay, but since insomnia, I'm being a stickler. It's just that it says I want my trigger, and I had to say that I want my trigger to do something. So I love this, that you don't have to do that. You can just say I want a full good night's sleep.
Yeah, but see, the trigger isn't really insomnia. The trigger is your sleeping pattern, and that's what we mean by insomnia, right? So the trigger is you not being able to sleep.
Okay.
And so the goal is for you to have a full, restful, uninterrupted night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it might sound to some like, just semantics or playing with words, but it helps with your clarity of mind getting this worksheet to line up.
Yeah.
You're right.
And
it is better when the goal is directly related to the trigger. And so if you just clear up the language and just say, the trigger is that I have insomnia, which means, that's a code word for I have interrupted unproductive sleep patterns.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And it's something that's describing what happens with you. And so the goal is going to be for you to have full, restful, uninterrupted sleep, or peaceful, restful, uninterrupted sleep, however you want to word it.
Mm-hmm. Good. Now, once I've stated this goal and I choose love, my essence, which stirs up the love in everyone.
Did you do this worksheet in the middle of the night?
No, I did it this morning.
Okay.
Why does
when
it
you
sound
did it
off?
this morning, no. When you did it this morning, did you take time in step 4 to do the loving meditation and actually shift the energy in your heart space?
I did the meditation, but that's where I got stuck. I certainly had a memory come up. And I may have mentioned this memory before, but not in relation to insomnia. And so I realized from the woman I worked with in my own group last week that a memory can be reinstated, a memory that's known, but in context with this worksheet, it becomes just the right memory again. So,
So I'm asking about asking about the memory that will flood your energy system with love.
Oh, I didn't do that. I just remembered a bad thing.
Okay.
No,
so
I
this
didn't
is where
do that.
step 4, when we're doing the worksheet in the support group, whether it's on the internet or in live, we read step 4, which says, I choose love, which means I choose to be aware of love, which is my essence.
Yeah.
Right? And when I do that, it's going to stir the love in everyone involved. But then we have people put the paper down, put the pen down, and breathe and visualize some of the most loving, peaceful, safe, happy, strong, contented memories they have from any time in their life. Could go to recent or distant past. But strengthen that loving, peaceful, safe, happy thought until you feel a shift in your energy. Because it's this conscious awareness of that loving energy that's going to do the healing that might happen in a worksheet.
And that is exactly what I did not do. I didn't do it. Okay, I'll skip the part about berating myself.
Happens? So if you do it now, what happens? What loving thought can you have?
I'm going to have to sit with this for a second. You know, Dr. Tim, I'm so jangled with anxiety that it's hard to find it, but I'm doing...
How about a cat?
Well, he's right in front of me, and he's crawling all over me and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
How about, hugging a cat? Letting yourself get attuned to the rhythm of the purring of the cat. Letting yourself remember what a blessing it was for you to discover the energy that you share with your animals.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It sounds like you had to shift.
Yeah. There's something in Scripture or something in the religious liturgy in the Catholic or Episcopal service that says something like, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Something like that. And when I pick up my fat orange cat, that's what I say to him, is I love you with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength. And it's true. It's right there.
There you go.
So,
all right.
I didn't think, okay, that's good.
You did
right,
it.
Breathing.
Just now. Think about the cat. Think about the orange cat. Think about all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, pouring love into that cat, which is the representation for you of the one mind, the Christ mind, and just breathe. And then we move on to number 5.
While holding love conscious, active, and present, I now choose to collapse my mind's lies by willingly canceling my goal to have a full, deep, uninterrupted sleep. Not but consistently full, deep, uninterrupted sleep.
And then invite something other than your conscious logical mind.
Invite God/love to incline me toward healing. Restore me to my newborn essence, love. Heal my denial, which is that sleeplessness is causing my anxiety, right? I had trouble with that one. Where is the anxiety with? Where is the denial with?
The denial is that you are. It's the thought that you're damaged or broken. It's the thought that this is all an inside job. There's something wrong with me and I need to fix something, etc. That's all denial.
Is it
and
denial
my capacity,
to say...
Go ahead.
Is it denial to say that we need 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night? Or is that just simply a tool with which I scare the daylights out of myself on a regular basis?
Well, if it's a thought that you use to generate fear, it's false.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And my capacity to generate this upset.
Right. Help me to open a direct, conscious relationship with and gently remove the denied, dissociated, and projected parts of my carbon-based memory. I haven't been removing these very well. Yeah.
Okay, so don't worry about it. It's not your job, right? Here's the point. This is why you ask God, love, Holy Spirit, whatever. You ask the powerful, full consciousness of the one mind to do this work for you. You put your conscious, logical mind on the shelf. So just breathe, do a little meditation here. Silently inside your own self, repeat what I'm going to say out loud. I cancel my need to be right. I cancel my need for anyone or anything to change, including myself. I specifically cancel my goal in this worksheet. I put my conscious, logical mind on the shelf for now, and I ask to be shown the hidden part of my own mind that's actually creating this upset in this worksheet. And then just breathe and soften and gently repeat that over and over again. I cancel my need to be right. I cancel my need for anyone or anything to change, including myself. I specifically cancel the goal in this worksheet. I put my conscious, logical mind on the shelf for now, and I sit here in the most open, allowing space I can generate to just watch whatever thoughts, memories, images float up. And just notice if an image comes from an earlier time in my life, how old am I? Where am I? Who else is there and what's happening? And just breathe and soften and allow, trusting that any thought, any image, any physical sensation or emotion that comes to your mind, and trust that it's going to be part of whatever you need to see to begin to heal here and move forward.
Okay.
And do that until you feel a shift, or if something comes to mind, or you get an insight. And then when that's happened, take a breath and scan your body and notice what's the strongest physical sensation or emotion in your body right now.
Yeah.
And write that in 6A.
Okay. You mean I see that? 6A means I feel.
No, 6A is what I feel. What's the strongest emotion or physical sensation in your body right now?
Well, it's extreme discomfort and a racing heart, but I always thought that was supposed to be after you've given up the goal and you feel better, and you put that you feel better. I don't feel better. I actually feel worse.
You just put whatever you feel now. You had extreme discomfort and racing heart, and what did you see? What did you flash on that was leading to all of those comments and groans?
It's okay to tell those. It's okay to tell those stories, because I know it's not good to just go over and over stories. Yeah. Okay. I've had the feeling with insomnia that I was trapped. I couldn't take pharmaceuticals. I couldn't take herbs or supplements because they don't work. My mind is crazy at night. So I'm just stuck, trapped. And I remembered a time when I felt trapped when I was about 6 or 7. It was the usual scene, my sister and I were put to bed very early as little girls, partly so my parents had some time to themselves. So we would wake up very early, and it was light out, and we were quiet, I thought. But my sister and I set up a little tea set on a table in my bedroom. And is this okay? Is this where I should be going with this?
Yep.
Okay.
It's what came to mind, and this is what, as you say it to us, it's going to help lock it in, and then when we're done with the radio show, you can take out a blank sheet of paper or flip your worksheet over and make these notes. Go ahead, finish talking about it.
Okay, my mom has an issue with sleep, or had an issue with sleep, and we woke her up, and she was extremely angry, and she brought this riding crop into the room, and she did not hit us with it. My sister and I went to the upper corner parts of our beds as far as we could get away from her and rolled ourselves up into balls, and she proceeded to use the riding crop to smash the tea set. And she didn't hit us, which I was very glad about.
Just keep breathing. Stay with it. Let this energy process. Keep your breath flowing from in-breath, out-breath. Notice any tendency to hold the breath.
Okay.
Keep the breath connected. Slow the exhale down so you don't hyperventilate.
Okay.
And this is where several other worksheets around all of these negative emotions and memories would be beneficial.
Okay.
And when you write about this, we want you to put down all these thoughts. Oh my gosh, whatever those thoughts are, I don't want to start framing them for you, but any negative thoughts about yourself, any thought that you deserved that or there was something wrong with you, all of those need to be written out and spend some time with your breath and maybe do the follow-up worksheets on those separate thoughts or beliefs.
I can do that, yeah.
And as soon as you think you've got enough written that you can remember it and remember the details, we can move on and finish.
Okay. Yeah, I put it on the side of the worksheet. So, a principle of the universe is that by giving I first get the original. I am grateful for this opportunity to heal. I choose truth. I have no idea what that is right now. Perfect love.
Well, truth, all that means is what actually happened. And in this case, it would be to be able to see your true nature and your mom's true nature, which is not evident when anybody is acting out of pain or fear.
Right.
Right. We know from today's lesson in Course in Miracles that means there's a distortion going on.
Yeah.
So that's the truth we're asking for there, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And perfect love is that idea of choosing to perceive only love and intend only love. So for yourself, what's a truly loving goal? Well, in this case, I would say some breath work around what you just discovered and a couple worksheets on either some of those negative thoughts or the body shaking. What did you write in number 6? The agitation, the racing heart, etc. Worksheets around that and or EFT tapping to dispel some of that energy.
Okay. So I had written an enlightened goal, but I don't think it's as good as the one we're doing now, which is follow-up worksheets on the list of things I've been writing down. Yeah.
This will probably be more beneficial because it's that raw emotional energy. It's rooted in that.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Dr. Kim. Good.
So you want to do the I choose, commit to love, to living a human life, and to help achieve this, I do a mass canceling of all the times I've wanted the goal for myself to have a peaceful, full, restful night's uninterrupted night's sleep. Yeah. Well, cancel that goal for your mother, for one.
Okay. That's a good thought.
And anybody else you might have wished that for, whether it was your children when they were young and they were, disrupting your night's sleep, or him if he's bumbling around the house when you're trying to sleep, and just cancel it. A mass canceling of any time you've wanted somebody to sleep. Restful and uninterrupted.
Okay, good.
And then take a breath and scan your body and note your upset level. And make a written notation of what that upset level would be now and whether or not that is a successful worksheet for you.
It's a successful worksheet. The upset level is still, well, I'd say a 5 or 6, but that's down from 8, 9, and there's more work to be done. This isn't finished, but this is good, Dr. Tim. You caught where I was stuck.
Well, congratulations on your willingness to do that and to see where you were stuck. And remember, for future episodes or worksheets, that when you stop and do that meditation in step 4, where you let yourself feel that loving energy rolling through your heart space, that's the thing that actually does the healing work. That's what Michael Rice calls process. I take the time to keep love conscious, active, and present anytime something unlike love comes to the surface.
And so we do that, and then we go right back into the battle there with whatever comes up might not be so loving and so good.
Well, it's an interesting choice of words to say we go back into the battle, but we are aware of what's up for us. Yeah. We're just aware of what's up for us, and we tap into, some people say that we rotate back and forth between the negative thought and the loving thought, and we juxtapose those energies until the presence of the loving energy in close enough proximity to the fearful or angry or disrupted memory or energy, the loving energy transmutes anything unlike itself.
Oh, that's good that you can go back and forth, because that's what happened, and that's good to know that. Just keep doing that until one wins out.
Yeah, and the one that wins is always going to be the love. It's always the stronger because it's the only thing that's actually true.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Tim. That's
You're
so
entirely
good.
welcome and deserving, and happy birthday.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'll mute you and let you hold on for the second hour, and I'll remind us all that we come from love. We're made of this stuff we call love. We actually are love, and everything else is false. Welcome, Jeannie Rice.
Thank you, Dr. Tim. And yes, happy birthday, Susan. So,
happy Memorial Day. Have a lovely show, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
All righty. Thanks.